Adrian Wojnarowski, who writes about the NBA for Yahoo Sports, wrote an article on the Nuggets and their coaching search. Let me read you a little bit of it, okay? After replacing Brian Shaw, Melvin Hunt had the Nuggets playing much better basketball. Nuggets general manager Tim Connelly and President Josh Kroenke plan a broad search with a candidate list that will include, among others, ex-head coaches Mike Malone, who coached at Sacramento for a very short time, Mike D'Antoni, Scott Skiles, and Alvin Gentry. Also, Dave Vanterpool. He's an assistant coach with Portland. He's supposed to be getting an interview for the job. Florida's Billy Donovan might be on the list. Iowa State's Fred Hoiberg might be on the list. And if Scotty Brooks is let go by Oklahoma City, he would be on the list.
Yeah, tell me something I don't know. Billy Donovan's not going to come here. They're not going to pay him $5 million. So
they probably have to pay him more than that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to pay him $5 million because they've already got $2.5 million going to Brian Shaw.
All right, so let's eliminate people. All right, you just eliminated Billy Donovan. You know who I'm going to eliminate? I'm going to eliminate an assistant coach, David Vanterpool, because he has no NBA head coaching experience, and I think they're going to hire somebody with head coaching experience. I'm also going to eliminate Fred Hoiberg, another guy. First of all, he's only been coaching for a short time college ball, and he has no NBA coaching experience. So I think they're going to go for somebody who has coached in the NBA.
Okay.
And who has won in the NBA. And that's either Skiles, D'Antoni, or Scotty Brooks if he's available.
I'm going to eliminate Scott Skiles.
Why?
He doesn't run a run. It's not a running style. He's a tough coach. Players don't like him. If they didn't like Brian Shaw, they're sure hell not going to like him. I never met a player that liked playing for him.
He did rub a lot of guys the wrong way.
He coaches like he played. A guy that skinned his knees all the time. that wasn't very good, overachiever. No, I don't like him.
Can we also eliminate Michael Malone?
Yeah, that was going to be my second.
Yeah.
Gentry. The more I put it, he's not high on my list, but he's the assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors. I think that experience, he was a coach here.
He was an assistant at CU.
And I think he was a film guy with the Nuggets for a while. I told you he's David Thompson's cousin, so he was hanging around the Nuggets.
He's a good guy, too.
Yeah.
Alvin's a good guy.
And he was in Phoenix, so he did a running style. So I think Alvin Gentry is probably at this very moment second to Mike D'Antoni. I would say those are the two front runners for that. I like D'Antoni more than I do Alvin Gentry as a coach. The players might relate better to Alvin Gentry because he's a younger guy. He's been a head coach at least recently. They'll look at him and say, hey, he's part of that deal with Golden State. Look at what they've done.
And I think it needs to be somebody who knows how to play up-tempo. Alvin knows how to do that, and certainly D'Antoni knows how to do that. And let me just do a shameless plug here, okay? I did 2 commentaries last week on Thursday and Friday. The first commentary was what the Nuggets need to do. The second one was about the guy the Nuggets need to hire, and that was Mike D'Antoni, in my estimation.
Sure, and I think you showed up everywhere I turned on DenverPost.com, your commentaries and I think you were in the same shirt, some of them, but
definitely the same underwear.
Yeah. So again, when you go to DenverPost.com, he's all over it. And so, I think there'll be other names, and so I don't think they should just immediately hire Mike D'Antoni or Alvin Gentry, but. None of those. If somebody gave him that list, then I don't want to be around that person. Really.
And, as a dark horse.
If you think Josh Kroenke, because here again, this was true with Dan O'Dowd. These national website writers and national Sports Illustrated writers get a lot of stuff out of the people if in return they will say or write really nice things about them. Dan O'Dowd was one of the biggest sources in Major League Baseball, and in return, guys you've watched and heard would say, oh, Dan O'Dowd does a good job out there. I think that had an effect on Dick Monfort. Oh, yeah, well, man, he's a big-time Major League Baseball. He says Dan O'Dowd was good. The reason why they'd say that was a trade-out. You give us information, you feed us information all the time.
And we'll say nice things about you.
I did that once. I had a friend that nobody knew was my friend in the NFL. He sent me the waiver wire every week. He would tell me stuff, and I wrote a column saying, well, he's one of the greatest general managers in all of football. Guess what he did? As one of the greatest, I wrote he was one of the greatest general managers of all time. What was maybe the worst trade in the history of the NFL? Think about it.
The Herschel Walker trade.
He made the deal for Minnesota. He was the Minnesota general manager. He turned out he was one of the worst general managers.
Is that Mike
in the
Lynn?
history. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the worst general managers in the history of the NFL. I wrote, this is an up-and-comer. Well, the up-and-comer went down and outer.
Hey, that segment brought to you by John
But
Elway
I got a lot of
Chevrolet,
stuff. I got a lot of stuff from him.
Colorado's #1 Chevrolet dealer.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on elwaydealers.com.